Welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to strengthen your lower back. If you don't know who I am, I'm Penny from The Hidden Gym. I'm an online personal trainer and I specialise in safe and effective exercise for the over 50s. Lower back issues, they're very, very common. And the general advice for these people is that they need to strengthen their lower back. So strengthening exercises would classically be back extensions and the deadlift exercise. Now, they are very good exercises for strengthening the muscles in that part of your back. However, if you're experiencing issues with your lower back, they're definitely not suitable for you. This is because your back is already very tense. Often people with lower back issues, their muscles in that area are actually quite strong, but they're overly contracted. They're working too hard. And if you do those types of exercises, you're just going to make the problem worse. Often the issue for people with lower back pain, it lies elsewhere, and it's to do with lack of balance. So your core and your glutes, the muscles in your bottom, they work together with your lower back. And when those muscles are weak, your lower back is having to work too hard. It's taking the whole load. And what we're looking for here to solve your issues is to create a bit more balance in the body. So we strengthen the abdominal muscles here and strengthen your glutes, and we take some of the load off your lower back. So the core here, if we think about the core, is like a girdle, it goes all the way around. So your back is part of your core, but if your muscles here are weak, then you can see, can't you, how your back is taking too much of the load. So we're going to work on strengthening this part of the core, your abdominal muscles. And then we're also going to work on strengthening the glute muscles. So often, if you've got weak glutes, your lower back will take the strain. And weak glutes, we do too much sitting, don't we? It's a very common problem for people. So I'm going to give you 2 exercises for each area. Now, I will say, generally, these exercises are very safe for most people. But if you do experience pain or discomfort when doing these exercises, then I suggest you book in with a physiotherapist and they can take a little bit of a deeper dive into what your specific issues may be. So let's crack on with those exercises. Supine tabletop hand to knee press. It's a very long name there. So this is a core exercise. You're going to be lying on your back. So if you're somebody who tends to jump your chin, just pop a cushion under there to get everything nicely aligned. We're going to first of all switch on those abs. So tighten your tummy muscles. That will pull your back closer to the mat. And then we're going to put your feet in tabletop position. So the idea here is you've got 90 degrees at the hip, the knees, and the ankles there. And you're going to take one hand, place it on your knee, and you're going to push your hand into your knee and your knee into your hand for about 3 or 4 seconds. All the time maintaining that position in your spine. You may feel it a little bit here in your hips as well, because those hip flexors are also having to work. So just 3 or 4 seconds, alternating each side, keeping that tension in your abdominal muscles. Palloff press. I'm not sure where that name comes from, but it's a great core exercise. And this time we're going to be working towards the side of your core, so into your obliques. It's an anti-rotational exercise. That means that it's going to help you keep nice and stable in all your daily activities. you're going to have strength enough to avoid any unwanted twisting, turning or leaning. So it's really good for helping prevent falls. So you're going to have to do the exercise twice because we're working at the side. We're going to work this side with the band here, and then we're going to flip round, face the other way and work the other side of the body. I've attached my band here, just slightly lower than chest height. And first of all, I'm going to grip the band like this, place my other hand over the top. Now to get a bit more resistance, I'm going to come out away from its fixed point. And I need to be pushing forward directly in front of me. So if you've got a mirror you can work in front of, that's brilliant. If you haven't, place an object on the floor and you can actually aim your hands towards that object. So nice, slow and controlled movements. At this point, you're going to feel that pull even more. So it's harder the further away from your body you go. And you'll feel all these muscles down the side working. Don't go too intense at first, but once you feel you've got the hang of the exercise, you can step a bit further away, get a bit more resistance on that band, and off you go. And obviously when you've done your repetitions this way, you're going to turn around and you're going to do exactly the same on the other side. Glute bridge, a classic exercise this for strengthening those muscles, your glutes here in your bottom. So you may have encountered this one before. I've got a cushion here for under my head, just makes me a little bit more comfortable. And the first thing you're going to do is bring your feet towards your bottom as far as is comfortable for you. Now I'm going to engage my tummy muscles so that I flatten my back into the mat like that. And when you do that, you'll probably notice that it tilts your pelvis. So if you feel for your hip bones here, your pubic bone here, put a finger on your pubic bone, one on your hip bone. And when you flatten your back, just be aware you'll feel your pubic bone lift up and your hip bone drop down. And that's putting you in the ideal position for this exercise. So flatten your back to tilt your pelvis. And then you're going to push through your feet up into this position here, squeezing those bottom muscles. And then very gently coming back down again. Now the biggest mistake I see people make is they go too far in this movement. So we're coming up here and getting a nice straight line, knees, hips to shoulders, but we don't want to go too far. So I don't want you coming up like this, because as you can see here, that accentuates the arch in my back, and what that's actually doing is compressing my lumbar spine, and we definitely don't want that. So tilt your pelvis, flatten your back, up you come, squeeze that bottom, come down with control. And once you feel you're doing this exercise properly with good form, you can then get a bit more of a flow to it. So up you come, hold for a couple of seconds, down, little kiss on the mat, and up again. So let's get those glute muscles nice and strong. This exercise is called clams. It's a very well-known exercise for working the lateral hip muscles, very popular with physiotherapists, this one. Lying on your side, you can use your arm to make it more comfortable for your head and to keep your head aligned, or you might prefer to put a cushion there. And you're going to have your knees bent like this. So one foot on top of the other. Now what we're looking for is, you can't see it, but at the back of you, we want a nice straight line so that your head, if there was a wall there, your head, your shoulders, your hips and your feet would be touching the wall. Everything's nicely lined up. You can actually do this against a wall, and then you'll know that you've got the position absolutely perfect. Or if you're in the lounge, you could do it against the bottom of the sofa.
So once you're in that position, make sure that it's what I call that your hips are stacked. It means that one hip is directly above the other hip. What we don't want is this rolling in like this, or alternatively, if you're not against a wall, rolling back the other way. So hips and shoulders are nicely stacked. You can put a hand here for support, and you're simply going to open up like this, as if you were a clamshell instead of having two legs there. Now, this is the point where it's very easy to start moving your hip. You need to make sure that your hip just stays exactly where it is. If you put your hand on your hip, that can help. You will actually reach a natural stop point here where you can't go any further. Everybody's hips are configured differently. So some people might be open the shell really wide and other people haven't, and that's simply just the way that their skeleton is made. And as you're doing that, nice and gently, you'll feel it here right at the side, but also in your bottom here at the back. And then obviously when you've done repetitions on this side, you're then going to flip over and do exactly the same number of repetitions on the other. As you come up here, you can actually focus into that squeeze at the top. I say it's almost like wringing out a dishcloth. Squeeze into it and back down.
These exercises will help you create balance in your body, taking the load off your lower back by strengthening your core and your glutes. If you've liked this video, then yes, please click that like button and also subscribe to my channel. You'll also possibly be interested in my 14-day free Facebook Let's Get Moving challenge. I run them on a regular basis. You'll find details down below and on my website. This challenge is specifically for those people who want to learn how to exercise safely and efficiently in the comfort and privacy of their own homes. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it useful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.